When someone passes away, the emotional toll is heavy enough on its own, but unfortunately, most families are left juggling a long list of stressful and often unexpected tasks. You might be planning services, handling final expenses, sorting through personal belongings, and trying to make sense of the finances, all also while dealing with heavy grief of the loss of a loved one. The last things anyone wants to deal with in the middle of all of this are complications around real estate and the real estate itself in courts. That's where something called probate often comes into play. It's a process that can be confusing, very time-consuming, and at times very frustrating for many reasons. Today, I'm going to break it all down for you. In this video, I'll cover how probate actually works in Michigan and how to start it, what to expect throughout the process, common hurdles families face, and why having a will doesn't necessarily help avoid probate. And finally, how to plan ahead to protect your loved ones before you ever need to be in this type of situation. This isn't a fun topic to talk about, but it's one that should be talked about, as eventually, this is a process that touches everyone. So let's start with the basics. What is probate, and how do you actually start it? In Michigan, probate is the legal process that happens after someone dies to make sure their assets, like real estate, bank accounts, and other property, properly transferred to the right people, and that the debts or taxes are paid first. If a person owned a home solely in their name, that property can't just be sold or transferred right away by their children or their heirs. The title is essentially frozen until the probate courts give permission. To start probate, someone, usually a close family member, files paperwork with the probate court in the county where that person lived. They'll submit things like the death certificate, the will if there is one, and a petition asking the court to appoint a personal representative. It's also called an executor. That person is then officially given the authority to handle the estate, collect assets, pay debts, and eventually distribute what's left to the heirs. The process can be informal, which is quicker and less supervised by the court, or formal, which is used when there are disputes or more complex situations. Either way, it usually takes months and sometimes even a year or more to get everything fully settled. Now, one of the biggest misunderstandings I see is that people think having a will means you get to skip probate. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. A will is an important tool as it gives the courts instructions on who should inherit what, but it still has to be validated through probate court. In other words, the court still needs to review it, appoint a personal representative, and ensure everything is handled according to law. So while a will can help guide the process and prevent family disputes, it doesn't eliminate probate altogether. Dealing with probate is where things can get tricky. Let's say a parent passes away and their name is the only one on the deed. The family wants to sell the home to pay off debts or split the proceeds, but they can't because no one technically owns it until the court finishes probate. You will most likely run into a bunch of issues, including title issues, as the title company will not insure or allow transfer of ownership until that probate is finalized. You may also have heir disagreements where one sibling wants to sell where another one wants to keep it. There's also possibly outstanding debts or taxes that the deceased may have. These have to be paid before the property can be distributed. In court delays, paperwork, hearings, and all the required waiting periods that drag this process out. As again, I mentioned, this can take months to a year. And during that time, the family is often still paying for utilities on the property, insurance, maintenance on the property, and sometimes they're still paying on a mortgage as well, which can add even more stress, more hardship for the family. Once the personal representative is officially appointed, they can start taking action. They'll work with the court to get the authority to list and sell the property, to pay off any liens and mortgages, and distribute any of the remaining proceeds according to the will, or if there's no will, it's according to Michigan's inheritance law. Until probate is complete, the property technically belongs to the estate and not the family, which means that it can't be refinanced or transferred even privately. So, what's the best way to spare your family all this red tape? Well, you need to plan ahead. There are a few key tools you can use in Michigan to help your real estate transfer smoothly without ever touching the probate court. One of them is called a ladybird deed, or enhanced life estate deed. This is one of my favorites because it's a simple and very Michigan-specific way to do this. It allows you to keep full ownership and control of your property while you are alive. You can sell it, refinance it, whatever you need to do. But when you pass, it automatically transfers to your chosen beneficiaries without the need for probate. It's often inexpensive and easy to create with the help of an attorney, and it's one of the cleanest ways to handle real estate if your situation is straightforward. The other way is called a revocable living trust. Now, this is where estate planning really shines. A revocable living trust is hands down the most comprehensive and flexible way to protect your assets and avoid probate entirely. Here's what's so great about it. You get to maintain full control over everything while you're alive. With this, you can buy, sell, refinance property just like normal. But when you pass away, the assets are in your trust. They go directly to the chosen beneficiaries without court involvements or waiting periods. It keeps your estate private. Unlike probate, which becomes a public record, a trust stays confidential. It can help avoid disputes because everything is laid out clearly in writing. It can also cover a lot more than just real estate, including things like your bank accounts, investments, vehicles, personal property. It can all be included in the trust. So for families with multiple properties or blended families or anyone who wants a truly streamlined transfer of assets, a trust is often the ideal route. So how to get started on setting up a trust is simpler than most people think. And the best place to start is simply by talking to an estate planning attorney who's familiar with Michigan law. With them, they'll help you draft the document, name a trustee, which is the person who will manage the trust after you pass, transfer ownership of your home and all other assets into that trust, which is a crucial step people often forget. And once it's set up properly, your loved ones can skip probate altogether and take immediate action with far less stress and cost. The death of a loved one is one of those things no one wants to go through, but unfortunately, almost everyone eventually has to. It's one of the hardest things for so many reasons, but real estate side of it doesn't have to be that hard. The key is to understand how it works, get the right people involved, and prepare before you need to. That might mean working with an experienced attorney, a trusted title company, and a real estate professional who's familiar with probate and estate property. Someone who can help guide you through both the legal and practical sides of the process. If you find yourself going through this right now, or if you want to set things up for your loved ones so they don't have to deal with it later, reach out. I'm always happy to help be a resource and answer any questions or connect you with the right professionals. Because this is an unfortunate and inevitable part of life, with the right plan in place, you can make it a whole lot easier for the people you care about. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use this info. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike West with Origin Real Estate Group in Southeast Michigan, and I love educating about the entire buying and selling process, how it works in our local area. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if there's anything I can help with. DM or my personal cell at 313-288-0553. I'll see you in the next one.